Hello, Happy New Year, and hope you are all keeping well. In this video, I am going to be painting a custom skate deck using acrylic paints. It's always a good idea to prep the board first before adding any artwork, and I like to sand it down first to remove the varnish, and then apply a white gesso undercoat which stops the paints from soaking into the wood grain below. As the design was created digitally on my iPad, I had to enlarge this and then print it out onto 3 separate sheets of A4 paper, which were then taped together. Next, I traced over that design using tracing paper. It's important to note that this will need to be flipped over, so make sure you flip your design before printing, or you could use graphite transfer paper instead, which is probably much easier. Next, I use a biro to transfer the graphite from the pencil onto the gesso undercoat below. And to prevent the pencil from smudging, and to provide a clearer guideline for me to work from, I decided to go over the lines with a Sharpie. When adding the colour, I like to test out the colour palette on a scrap piece of paper first to make sure the colours work well together. And then I like to apply the colours working from lighter colours first and finishing with the darkest colours at the end. I'm not being too clean with my strokes at this stage, as I can tidy the edges later when I apply the darker background colour. Just like to point out as well that I am by no means an expert at this and very much learning as I go along. This is the method that's worked for me, however you may have a completely different method that you use. If you do, give me a shout in the comments, it'd be good to know how you go about this kind of thing. The paints I'm using for this are actually left over from a mural project I completed last year. If you'd like to check that out, I actually have a process video up on my YouTube channel. It's worth mentioning that some of the colours, especially the blue as you can see, were not the most opaque, so therefore I did have to add 2 or 3 coats for each colour. And finally, I like to round off the design by finalizing the outlines with a black Posca Pen. This really helps to cover up any small mistakes, and it really helps just to tie the piece together. This for me is probably the most fun stage, as it's nearing the end and you can kind of see your whole, fruits of labour kind of come into fruition, and you know that you're not too far from the finish line. And for some finishing touches, a little white to break up that dark blue background. Finally, it's time to remove that masking tape from the edges. Easier said than done. And to protect the artwork, a few coats of matte varnish. And here is the finished product. I'm really happy with how this came out, and I'd love to do more of these in the future, so if anyone has any suggestions or ideas on future designs, do let me know down in the comments. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. See you on the next one.